Tony, welcome to the CIOZone.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
It's really my pleasure. Perhaps you could start, and I know that many people already know of you, but maybe you could tell us a little bit from your perspective, what is your role at Microsoft?
Well, I think I have probably one of the most fun CIO jobs on the planet. And it really consists of 4 different kinds of roles. Obviously, I probably do, all the classic stuff that you would expect a CIO to do in terms of running the internal sort of IT operations of the company. But I do a bunch of other things that actually make this job quite interesting. The first is I spend a lot of time with our product groups. One of the roles of Microsoft IT is to roll out Microsoft products before we ever ship them commercially, internally in IT. And one of the reasons we do that is so that we can give feedback to the product groups about the enterprise readiness and
so advisor
and
and guinea pig.
Yes, exactly. So that's good.
That's great.
I also spend a lot of time with customers. So as you can imagine, CIOs want to know, how does Microsoft IT deal with this stuff, and they like to give us input, which we in turn then pass on to the product groups.
Right.
I think one of the more interesting roles, though, that I play is I spend a lot of time with my business partners in Microsoft and working on enterprise business process. Our whole industry is changing dramatically. We're moving from shipping CDs to digital downloads to online services. And the result of that is every business process in the company is affected and has to change in some way. So those 3 roles on top of the classic IT things make this kind of a really fun and interesting role.
It seems to me that you're very reflective of my vision, at least, of what the CIO of the 21st century is going to have to look like. In essence, although technology enables all of the things that we do, what we're ultimately interested in are the business processes and the people who execute them.
Yes.
And that's what gives us the deliverables, ultimately, that the business has to produce.
I agree.
So you are there already.
I won't claim perfection yet, though, I'll tell you that. So.
Well, excellence is good.
Yes.
Obviously, as the rest of the world catches up with you and starts to behave more like business people with a technology strength, as that happens, how does Microsoft plan strategically to support this new generation of CIOs and what their new requirements are going to be?
Well, I think, the story of Microsoft has long been about enabling the masses in some form or another to do more and more. And I really think that, based on our products and more broadly things that are happening in the industry, we're really enabling the whole next generation of productivity that we're going to see.
Absolutely.
Not just for all aspects of business, but also for IT. And so I think you're going to see our products be more manageable, with fewer people, with more automation, easier to install, easier to support, so that IT can focus on the really important things, which are, business innovation and those kinds of things. And I'm pretty excited about it. I think we have a really great opportunity. Collaboration is increasingly important, and the tools to collaborate, even for IT to collaborate, are really getting pretty cool.
What do you see as the biggest challenges facing this next generation of CIOs? Because, we're coming out of a very operational paradigm, and we're moving into a more business-centric and business process-centric world. How do you think this will be enabled? Because clearly there are some challenges facing us.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones that I see is I think there's going to be a real war for talent in IT. We had the world I grew up in, you had the big consulting firms shedding, people with good project experience and good training and all that sort of stuff. And that model has kind of blown up over the last several years. And so if you ask yourself, where's the next generation of good project managers going to come from, it's not clear. And when we look at the number of people entering the profession or interested in joining our profession, it's not so rosy a picture, I'm afraid, and I don't really understand why, to be honest, because I think this has been a great career, and it's taken me all over the world, and most of the people I know really enjoy working in it. So we've got some brand image things or something to work on that.
Well, it may not necessarily be your brand. I think that I've observed this and have spoken to people who observe this more generally. But part of it is we really don't have a good requirement defined yet.
Yes.
Which in any project is a great starting point.
It is, absolutely.
And I think as it's morphing into something different, there is a bit of uncertainty. And I think young people I've spoken to who are in school think that they need a computer science degree to go into this, and of course nothing could be further from the truth.
That's right.
It may not even be an advantage. It may turn out to be a disadvantage in terms of a CIO role, for example.
You got it.
Certainly collaboration, as you've pointed out, is going to be key as we move forward, not only in the times like we're in now where every travel dollar is crucial to other things, if we can free it up for other resources. But I have a feeling that even as we pass through this, and we inevitably will, that some of these activities are going to persist.
Yes.
What do you have in store for us? Anything really interesting? And I don't want to obviously ask you to reveal anything that's proprietary at this stage, but if you give us a little taste, it would be interesting.
Well, I think some of the things that we've talked about and ones that I'm pretty excited about are, we're sort of moving on from the keyboard and mouse only sort of area to touch screens, to multi-touch, and to a new area called natural user interface. And it's showing up in gaming and in other areas, but it's going to show up in the office and in many other places. And I'm pretty excited about that because the more natural that we can work and interact with the technology that assists us, I think the more we can do. So I'm pretty excited about that in particular.
Yeah, sure, as we move away from the teletype paradigm.
Exactly, and the green screen and all that.
It's hard to imagine we've had it that long, actually.
But, although I wonder if texting isn't a reversionary technology in some sense. But
push to talk. An old...
But I'm pretty excited about that area. I think it opens up a whole new possibility. 3D, another sort of exciting area to sort of watch for the future. So, at the bottom line is I've never yet met a software developer who said, "Gee, that's too much processing power. Take some away. I don't know what to do with it." Or
it's like horsepower.
Or bandwidth. It's overwhelming me. Get rid of it. Or storage. Who
needs that?
And I think as long as we're on that journey of more capability and capacity in those three critical areas: bandwidth, compute power, and storage, there's some pretty exciting possibilities in front of us.